My name's Thomas Popay, a Red from Salford, currently living in Belfast, Northern Ireland, home to one of the greatest legends ever to wear the red shirt.
So just over there is Belfast City Airport, and in 2006 they changed the name to the George Best City Airport. About a year ago I flew in there, and immediately it was apparent just how much this man meant to this city.
2015 marks 10 years since George passed away, and I want to find out what kind of legacy the great man left.
So this is the Cregger estate. This is where George grew up, and these fields are where he learnt to play football. And if you need an indication of just how much he means to the people in this community, let me show you this. So as you can see, this is a giant mural for George, and this was painted just after his death. I wish in Manchester and in Salford we had these sort of murals for Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes, you know. I mean, that is how you remember a hero. So I'm back again in now rainy Cregger in East Belfast. Morris has agreed to meet with me and show us around George Best's house. So let's go have a look, shall we? Hey Morris.
Hi Tom, how's it going?
Good mate, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, come on ahead.
Morris is part of the East Belfast Partnership. They now run the George Best House as a B&B for United fans and tourists alike to come and stay.
The house is more or less as it was when George's dad died, so we've just tried to keep it as authentic as the family home. No one has ever lived in this house apart from the Best family. That's probably quite a famous photograph of George. That's the first known photograph we can find with him with a ball. Have you seen that before? No?
I honestly have not seen that.
Yeah, no, I've seen it around, but the family had that photograph. I mean, he was such a friendly guy. I mean, chatted to everybody, you know, and he never ever forgot where he came from, you know. Like when George came home, like even as a mature adult, he still came back here. So he was just sitting on that same sofa, you know, his backside just right where yours is sitting, you know. And the nice thing I like was he was just doing him with family stuff. Israel, Northern Ireland.
This is him representing his country.
Yeah,
Which is still a massive thing.
Yeah,
for people here, isn't it? You know.
Oh yeah, oh no, it absolutely is. Yeah. No, I was at a number of internationals, you know, where George was playing. Yeah, it was electrifying just watching him. I love that photograph. I was saying to you, this was ordinary George.
Yeah.
You know, he is so comfortable with, you know, just a whole crowd of ordinary people wanting to talk to him. Okay, so we'll just go into the main bedroom here, the double room. This would have been George's parents' room.
Dickie passed away in 2008, but Anne passed away in the late 70s. And they would have been close too, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I believe they were very close. That's like sort of first son and mummy tend to be pretty close. Okay, so we'll just go into the last room, Tom, which is George's room. That's how it was always described to us.
Wow.
So as a wee boy, this was the room he grew up in. You probably already know this, Tom, but like, although he went to Manchester, he wasn't a Manchester United supporter. He was a big Wolves supporter who one of the big. No best on the back of it either.
No best on the back. Thank God. Could you genuinely? Could you imagine if they chose this shirt over the red one? How different history would be. Yeah. God forbid.
Yeah.
Wow. So. George Best's house. If you look up here, this is a plaque to commemorate when it was awarded the freedom of the borough of Castlereagh, and that's when Morris took over and this place was turned into the museum and the kind of B&B. So that was an amazing day. That was an amazing day.
Not far from the house is the Oval, home of Glentoran FC, the club Bestie supported as a boy. I caught up with Sam Robinson, head of the supporters club, who agreed to show me around.
Hi Tom.
Sam, is it?
Yeah, it is indeed. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Cheers for having
Sorry
us,
about the
mate.
weather, mate.
Oh, not at all.
You like a look around?
Ah, yeah.
Come on ahead.
So, Sam, tell me a bit about the club itself then.
Yeah, the club itself was formed in 1882. It was a philanthropist, a very wealthy Belfast industrialist.
You've played in Europe, you know, against some big sides.
We've pitted ourselves against teams like Panathinaikos in the 60s, Rangers, Arsenal, Benfica played here. 1974 we reached the quarter-final of the European Cup Winners' Cup. So although as I say, you know, amateurs and then semi-professional, yeah, we've always boxed above our weight.
So is this will be where, you know, George used to sit with his dad?
Yeah, well, anecdotally, George's grandfather brought him here, and like most of us, he's probably a third, fourth generation Glentoran supporter. The story is after that, you know, that he was too slight, and we rejected him, you know, which is remarkable now, you know.
Would you say that's the greatest folly this club ever made?
Yeah, it's up there with Decca's sort of turning down the Beatles, you know.
So with the rain crashing down, Sam decided to take us inside to show us their historic boardroom.
So Tom, welcome to the Oval Boardroom. As you can see, it's steeped in history.
There are a lot of trophies.
yeah. And a lot of these are gifts from clubs that we've played in Europe. And if you notice there, the Silver Eagle was presented by Benfica. Crossing this side with some of the trophies that the club have won over the years. And just below that, for our 125th anniversary, of course, Manchester United came to play.
Yeah, just like that. That was not too long ago at all,
No,
was it?
2007 was our 125th anniversary, yeah.
So that wasn't the first time that you lads played United though then?
No, actually, United came here in 1982 as part of our centenary celebrations too, and that afforded George, obviously, the opportunity to play his one and only time in a Glentoran shirt. In actual fact, we've a few photographs of the game itself over here. Would you like to come over and have a look?
Yeah. Let's have a look.
So there you have it, Tom. There's a photograph of George in his one and only appearance for Glentoran in the
There
red,
he
green
is.
and black. He had an absolute blinder of a game that day.
What was it like to watch that game?
Oh, phenomenal! You know, it's just one of those sort of there were, you know, it was a hell of a crowd at the match itself, you know, but he didn't look out of place, you know.
No.
Certainly he was still an absolute dream to behold watching him play, you know. And we're hugely proud, as I say, that he eventually came back to play that one time, you know.
That must have been a great experience for him, you know, for finally.
Yeah, I think so.
fulfilling his dream.
You know, it's just where we're desperately partisan in this part of the world in East Belfast, you know, and he's East Belfast's sort of finest son, if you like. Just one of those, where were you when Kennedy was shot, you know, where were you standing when Bestie played at you know, and I can still take you to the spot where I was.
So this is the ground then, Sam?
Yeah, this is it. I've been coming here since I was 6, and standing unbelievably in the same place, just here, for 44 years. I'm 50 in January. For many of us, that's our only connection with East Belfast, you know, and that probably would have related to George too, you know, that you know, he would have felt an affinity playing back in East Belfast, you know. I can remember standing here and you know, watching the game unfold. It sticks in all our memory, you know. It's still talked about, you know, and no, it was lovely for him to be able to do that, you know, and maybe in some way I'll sort of doff a cap at the fact that we missed out on him, you know.
Yeah.
But
Too small and skinny.
Yep. There you have it.
After Glentoran rejected him, Georgie found his way to the Theatre of Dreams. In part 2, I'll find out what kind of following Manchester United has here, and look back at the day the world said goodbye to George Best. As the hearse passed through Belfast, thousands lined the streets. United fans or not, people from around the world came to pay their respects as the procession approached the Parliament building.